And it's time for the last match of the day here at the Halo World Championship 2025. Envy going up against Spacestation Gaming to close out the day, and what a day it has been. Welcome everyone, I'm Golden Boy. You got Walshy as well with me on the mic, and we're looking forward to this one because SSG, Dave, they've been gotten put through the ringer.
This spaceship's looking a little shaky so far on launch, on pool play.
Yeah.
You're right there, GB. We're not sure which SSG we're getting so far this event. Many times, I put them on my top four because I said, you can't really count out the likes of Eco and StelluR during Halo World Championship.
Yeah.
Even when they looked a little rocky during the last event, still managed to pull out a top four. But losing to Unreal Nightmare, up next they got Envy. Fate is not fully in their hands. Even if they win this, they're now in a three-way tie and have to figure it out.
Oh yeah, I mean, pressure is on. Just like the way this guy is gonna be feeling the pressure tomorrow in the Big Team Battle Bonanza. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Just wanted to, do a little promo for that ahead of time. But yeah, you're so right, Dave. They're not gonna be in control of their own destiny, right? At the rate that things are going. Envy's, playing great right now, finding a ton of success. So there really is just, the question, I guess, is who really wants to, who's going to show up in this moment in time? Who's going to be the one to step up? You were hearing earlier Tony talk about, wanting to see StelluR be that guy. He typically had been that guy on the SSG side, time and time again. But then on the Envy side, you got a lot of players there that are hungry to chase a trophy and can see SSG as a great stepping stone, great opportunity for them to do so, which is a crazy sentence to say out loud.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on all these members on this roster here of SSG. I keep hearing StelluR called out, but I tend to look towards a lot of his teammates over on his right and say, what could they be doing a little different? What could they be swapping up? Because I feel like StelluR's been so consistent throughout so many of these years, and I want when StelluR's going off for SSG to be absolutely dominant in that game. Not just StelluR going off to win the game, to barely get over the finish line.
Yeah, I was going to say that, to just drag them over the finish line. It's very true. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Envy, Descendant, Piggy, Precision, Yakzn, these are guys who have been at it for a long time. They're students of the game. And granted, they have had some ups and downs, but one thing for certain is this is a phenomenal team that can very well turn a lot of heads here in Seattle. And honestly, they're already doing it. They're 2-0 in their group, and they're looking phenomenal so far.
Yeah, it's hard to, you wouldn't have thought this 1 year ago at the Halo World Championship in 2024, but to say Envy is arguably favored against SSG in this match right now.
Wild to think for sure, but now we'll see though, right? I don't want to be one of those people who counts out SSG quite yet. Let's not forget, we still have some world champs on that team, guys who have done it before, who have had success, not just in Infinite, but in other Halos as well. So you're really going to be looking for them to dig deep in this one. That being said, now we got Piggy. He's got the camo just worn out, but we're going to be getting a lot of progress on this one. Doesn't really seem like there's a sense of urgency to try and force these fights here from Space Station. They're trying to maybe get some more positioning, get a little bit around the map, and then they're going to go and collapse here.
Like this play. They got a couple picks across the map, and then every member on SSG gets the memo and says, collapse on batteries, clear them out, and let's get some time of our own.
But now you kind of put yourself in a really difficult spot here, Dave, because look at that progress that was gained by Envy. One slip up if you're SSG, and that's it. You're going to lose that because it's going to be really hard for you to get back into the swing of things. Now, if you're Envy, though, you can't rest on your laurels here. You kind of have to hit the go button a bit and get in their face. Don't let them get comfortable and get a setup. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at going down 1-0 in this one.
Just like that, able to get themselves half of this hill for SSG. It's going to be whoever gets this next set of control. I don't know if it's going to be scrappy time. Yakzn trying to put the pressure on, going straight for batteries, and does get the kill on Falcated.
There is some support there from Suppress, and he gets himself a double. No one's in there quite yet for Envy, but for SSG, they're good. They got a body in there, and they could very well get the score, but they're going to have to remove these players on the elevator side of the map, and that was one. Descendant, Precision, not long for this world either. He's cooked, he's done, and that should be SSG getting this point here anytime now.
Yakzn got the grenade on Eco, got him out of there, so that's going to be new member there from SSG, Falcated, having to finish off the hill. Job well done, but you heard from Jersey saying, hey, I don't know if it's a well-oiled machine, but it gets the job done.
Hey, that's it, man. Sometimes you just got to make sure that you finish the task at hand. You don't got to be pretty. You just need to get the dub. That said, though, 3 down now for Envy. Yakzn, last player left alive. They have eyes on him. They know exactly where he is, but they don't have bodies to get into that hill quite yet. StelluR trying to hit him on the crosshair. Does manage to connect with one. Yakzn knows he's going to be in a world of hurt here, but he still manages to get at least some value out of that. And then Precision with the stick is going to remove all those players from the backside of blue and give them some space to work with.
And after all those exchanges, at least Suppressed walks away with a shock rifle. And Bill take his time here. But look at this, all this pressure still hitting them all the way towards pipes. I like this play from Envy. They're playing their own game. They're putting the pressure on the hill when they want. And Suppressed all of a sudden has to go into a more uncomfortable position. Has to take a new angle to try to get a shot here.
And he will find that shot. And he finds a second. Maybe looking for a third, who knows, but he's got it. Oh boy, triple kill for Suppress. Zapping fools in the face like it's nothing. Trying to get himself a fourth one too, an unofficial over, I guess, but that very well done. He got himself 4 solid kills that got his team right back in it.
Similar tale to the first hill though. Envy, first one to strike, gets so much time on the board, and I guess you're gonna get 3 medals, maybe 4 medals just for one of those kills because it's so cool. But whole point being is that Envy comes out the gates, they get a bunch of time on the hill, and that seems like SSG try to get some control and some, remove some chaos this time.
Yeah.
But in the end, Envy able to close out hill number 2.
And that was largely based off of what you had noted earlier, Dave, which was some really good aggression on the defensive side. They weren't waiting for Spacestation to, come to them, kind of like what happened in that first fight that they had, and they ended up losing that first point. Rather, they were a bit more proactive, getting in the face of their opponents and not allowing them to have any kind of comfort in these exchanges. That said, now we got Envy back on the winning side here, getting inside of this Whirlpool Hill. They're holding it down now. They have a couple of good items to be able to prevent movement, but here comes the push now. StelluR, Eco, both are going to be weak down low, so they're going to need brilliant reads. He got a teammate there. They got his one shot. They weren't going to be too concerned about that fight in particular. And on top of that, they were able to get themselves a camo. So they'll continue to use this one, and that's yet another camo that's been grabbed here for Envy. And Envy very much looking to add 2 to the count here. SSG kind of reeling a little bit. Not able to challenge his Whirlpool. They had a couple of fights, Dave, but it just did not pan out the way that they would have wanted to. And now that's going to be Envy up 2-1.
Yeah, Envy not afraid to jump on the hill without the perfect setup. Feels like SSG feel like they need to secure a bit more control across the map.
Yeah.
That's it's showing that Envy style is just working a little bit better. Not hesitating, just saying we're going to grab some time, put the pressure on SSG. So we're seeing how SSG reacts to this. One thing that's been true for SSG out of every roster and every iteration they've had is they know how to adapt as the game goes on, as the series goes on. Tricks that worked on during the first couple minutes of the game don't work towards the end.
Yeah, no, it's very true there. They just know, and they've been in these situations so many times, that they know how to kind of analyze it on the fly, which is a skill that a lot of teams don't have. But guys like this, guys who've won world championships, they certainly do. And, Suppressed and Falcated also want to be a part of that club eventually. But in order to do so, they got to beat the likes of Envy. They got to have these clean runs in pool play, which they have not been able to do so thus far. This is a real big game here obviously for both squads. Envy can go 3-0 in the pool at Worlds, which would be massive for them. SSG can force a crazy tie. There's a lot of scenarios that can come into play here. But one of them for Envy is they just got to get this done, plain and simple.
Yeah, end of the day, they can just control this right now if they can close up the series. Putting themselves in a prime spot so far with the 2-1 lead, but they got to figure out something on the C-Plat Hill. Doesn't look like Yakzn doesn't want to commit to it. I mean, it's one of those exposed hills. You want to make sure you have a little bit more control, especially when your team is up in the count.
Yeah,
you don't want to throw the lead.
He's going to go for it now, but he's going to have to deal with Falcated. Teammates there to back him up. The scratch chat making 2 teammates, but look at this. The flank starting to come in. Just as that push was starting to come through here. Suppressed, trying to just make himself a hard target for DSCENDANT, and DSCENDANT does manage to find his mark. Instead, though, this is now a prime opportunity for Envy to be able to get back into this one. One player, one shot in the control tower. DSCENDANT having to dodge all the grenades flying in here. You can see those 2 members, Falcated on the outside, looking to get back in. Suppressed company as well. They're going to be hanging out around that hill there, which is what prompted Eco to jump right into the action. But great reads from Envy, actually backing out a little bit, giving them a little bit of space, and then working the pit area to shut down those players. And they've also neutralized the camo there, which is huge.
Yeah, and so what looked like it was a locked-in hill here for SSG, no longer to be the case. Envy looking like they can close this one out, but look at that challenge. Charges it towards long haul.
That's big.
Aggression has worked so well for Descendant before. Can they close out? Eco doesn't get his foot in the hill in time, and that's a 3-1 lead here for Envy. You know they gotta play time at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Envy's gotta be real careful. Man, precision is insane. That's wild, the way that he got out of that fight. Got a kill, got one shot, was at that box, and then managed to jump into the sneaky right where Piggy is right now. I was gonna say, Envy needed to make sure that they didn't just lose everyone in that fight, and that they were gonna have to take this next one, oh my God, off of the respawn, but instead, they're doing such a brilliant job fighting inside of the long haul, getting in Space Station's face, and aggravating them in the process, clearly, because they're giving them no space to work with.
No, they're doing this so well. I love this play by Piggy. Just sitting over towards the long haul side, letting them spawn over and over again, so far away from the hill, and just coming into Piggy's trap.
Piggy's having a series right now. 20 kills for him. It's a great way to start things off here, rather a map, and he's having a great map, and they want to continue to see him have a great series here. It's only going to be a little bit of time left on the clock, and you know the rules, right? You get onto the hill, the clock stops, but the problem is that benefits SSG, but that clock is ticking down, just 24 seconds remaining, Dave. You don't have a lot of space to work with.
No, and this one's a tough one because if you're up to a 3-1 lead on this map specifically, the 5th and the 6th hills are going to be two of the most exposed ones. Bottom center and over at batteries.
It's so hard to be able to fight out of here, and for Envy, they do not need to get inside of that hill. That is not a necessity for them here. They can just continue to play this one out. SSG knows that. Eco really couldn't do all that much there. Gets caught looking, and that is going to do it. Envy managed to pick up that first map win over SSG. Hit your boy with some skin eventually, right? Homie was hanging in there for a
little
minute.
too long.
But now this is where pressure starts to mount here for SSG, because they have been on the receiving end of some difficult games and lost to Unreal Nightmare. You saw the devs talking about that earlier. Dave, there is a very strong possibility we're seeing Spacestation really struggle to find themselves here in Seattle.
Yeah, not the Friday they want to start. We talk about different versions of SSG or some of these superstar rosters, and you start to say, okay, they're playing out of their minds on Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
This is not the start you want to see if you're an SSG fan, but one of the best parts about being a Space Station fan is this is a squad you can never count out.
It's very true.
They could go into the elimination bracket early. They could be down 2-0 in a series, and it's a squad that can just bring it right back as soon as they start to click and start to have things go their way. So not counting them out, but at the same time, not seeing the best that I've seen out of SSG.
I'm not seeing that oomph that we usually see from SSG. The way that they play, these were the guys who kind of popularized the whole holding hands, work together, playing twos, do all that gimmick, and they weren't really doing that there. This time around, everyone was trying to find openings, but I think that's also a credit to Envy, because they were doing such a brilliant job of being aggressive over and over and over again. Kind of hard to react off of that when
that's
you're
a great
fighting.
Point. If Envy slows down that game a little bit more, doesn't play at the sort of pace and put that objective pressure on as quickly as they have, it could have been a complete different result. For sure.
But they did, and they recognized that. Now we're going into a Slayer. I gotta say, I'm kind of liking the way that Envy is hitting a lot of these early starts here. If they manage to do the same thing, where they can get like a 5-kill lead right out of the gate, or even a 3-kill lead, honestly.
I've been taking 2-kill lead, man. What are you getting?
No, 2 kills, that's a little too much there, brother. 3 kills, doesn't really help the point, but, I'm, giving the benefit of the doubt. But no, I just want to see Envy with a hot start here, straight up. That's going to be the most important thing. But this is the current series layout and the record for these teams here, and well, you can see how Origin Slayer not looking good for the boys in SSG.
Yeah, small sample size though. I mean, of the 5 games played, it's only Envy's won one of them. Space Station's 1-0, obviously, so it's tougher for Space Station, but at the same time, when it's that small of a sample size.
Yeah, it's very true.
Now, the one that gets a little scary there, if you're a SSG fan, is game number 3.
Yeah.
Live Fire Oddball.
Yeah.
0-6 at that point. That's a large enough sample size that you say, okay, this map and
there's a
might
problem.
be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to address something here.
All right, well, let's see what happens. Can Envy continue to ride this momentum that they got themselves in that first map? Or will SSG manage to respond here? Will we see the glimmers of that SSG team that's held trophies over their head, that's had teams fear them in bracket play? That's going to be what we're wondering for. Of course, we did have a little bit of an issue. We're going to get this one resorted and reloaded back in. So, you know, we'll keep the dramatic music and then quietly fade it out.
Talk about it for a little bit longer.
And then you quietly fade out the music. You know, that's how you got to do it. And then look at that. Look at that transition. Perfect. Unbelievable. Yes. More numbers for you. Okay. We got Precision here, who is doing his best Kong impression. And a 1.7 KD, though, in Slayer. My guy is frying.
Although the KDs are a little different there from these two Slayers on their squads, look at the damage difference, though.
Yeah.
Falcated, when he's getting hot, he is putting out a massive damage differential, just giving so many opportunities for his teammates. Also showing the pace of play that works out for his team when they're doing well.
Oh, yeah. When Falcated is hitting, he's like an axe for his team. You know what I mean? He's chopping people down left and right. I mean, the guy is insane. And that's why, again, you mentioned before, Dave, you really cannot count out SSG at any point in time. But there certainly is something to be said about guys like Precision, who, you know, you see on your screen there, who are, you know, not just up-and-comers, but have very much solidified themselves. You know, you're playing for an incredible org like Envy, or, you know, competing with people you've been alongside with along this journey for such a long time now. Like, this kind of reminds me, like, shades a little bit of like Native Red back in the day, right? Like, you know, when these were just like four boys that were just coming together trying to like make it happen. And Envy very much giving me that same energy here in Seattle. Could very well be channeling that same energy from back in the day. We've seen teams make some amazing runs here at Worlds. Maybe Envy could very well be on the receiving end of that one, but Spacestation does not want to let that one happen.
Yeah, Spacestation has a total chance here still. They will likely bring this to a longer series, have a chance to bring this back, but I rarely say you got to do it in game 2, and I feel like SSG does based on those stats for game number 3. So yeah, SSG has a lot riding on this game, and Eco going to kick this one off. He had a slow start in game number 1, but gets the very first kill in game number 2.
I was curious to see what this opening was going to be for both of these teams. Not a shocker that it's very balanced. That said, though, DSCENDANT, good job just taking the fight to the team. But the problem is he needs a little bit more support here, and he is going to get clipped at the distance. Courtesy of Suppress, he gets himself a double kill for his efforts.
He hears some movement. Yeah, he hears those clomping hooves right next to him in the maze. Eventually, Piggy gets taken down as well, but back and forth. Slays traded out, but it's going to be Sniper in the hands of Envy, if I believe correctly, and then Rockets in the hands of StelluR.
They might have actually just dropped them. Yeah, they did, as a matter of fact. So Rockets and Sniper back in their possession. We'll see what they can do with this one here. Saw Envy getting a couple kills with that snipe, but maybe it's not going to work out too well for SSG, perhaps. Not too sure on that one. Rocket goes off. That was his first. He's held on to that son of a gun for a long time.
That was also just so smart by StelluR not to waste the rocket on the one-shot guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just do it out of habit, saying, you know what, clear up the kill, don't think about it. But he's maximizing value out of this power weapon.
He gets himself 2 great kills out of that and manages to help his team get an 8-kill lead. So I talked about wanting to see Envy with a strong start. What about SSG? They certainly needed this. Eco with a double kill off screen is going to get things going here. 10 kills separating SSG and Envy.
Just like that, Eco on a killing spree. 6, 3, and 2. This team needs him. We talked about this. We said that game number 2 is going to be very crucial here for this SSG roster. And although they're 0 and 2 on Origin Slayer, that's not that big of a sample size. It doesn't matter that much.
No, for sure. And you know, I mean, when you're considering just how tournaments played out and the matches and everything like that, yeah, you're right. It's not the biggest sample size here. But I don't want to say that Envy's cooked quite yet here. Because I think now that you remove a lot of those power items from the equation, that's where things are going to get a little bit more sticky for Spacestation Gaming, because you're starting to see it in that scoreboard. We were talking about an 11-kill lead at one point for SSG. Now that thing's been shot down. They can continue to add more to it here. They just need to support one another and get these kills off, and they do so. Look at that. Descend again right back into the action, too, knowing that he's going to need to be present. Big fight here. He's got the support from his teammate. That's going to bring him within 5 now, Dave. They're right back in this.
Somehow, that's scary, though, because I don't think they really had any power weapons or anything to get right back into this. Just felt like getting some good old-fashioned hard kills. Just doing it with the
old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. But now they have Snipe in their hands, 4-kill game, and SSG on the run.
Yeah, they got these guys pretty much backs against the wall here. I thought that was going to be a shot, but Suppress is going to miss that one. Good thing for him. His teammate Yakzn was there for the connection. Oh, that's a little bit of a cheeky play there, Descendant, but I like the effort. Try to go for it. He's got a lot of shots left to work with.
So aggressive.
He is.
Saw a lot of recharge as well. It felt like every single time someone's weak around the corner, zero hesitation to fly around there and finish off the fight.
Yeah, they want to go. They want to take these fights. Killing spree now for Descendant with that sniper rifle. They like to just get aggressive, clearly, and it works out for them.
And this is actually getting scary for SSG again. I mean, I like to give them credit. We're saying, hey, you got a 7 or 8 kill lead, did all the work you need to do at the beginning of this. But to have that lead just disappear so quickly with what felt like not that spectacular plays. Don't get me wrong, Envy were hitting shots, making the right moves, but didn't feel like they were doing anything that incredible, like hitting ridiculous no scopes, and getting out of real weird situations. Just felt like good pressure,
grinding
consistent
it out.
pressure.
Yeah, they were just kill after kill. It wasn't really anything special. But despite that, though, because of that incredible lead that Spacestation was able to build up early on, kind of gives them a little bit more of a buffer to make some mistakes, readjust, and then attack the way that they want to. So even though we did see Envy come back a lot of kills in this one, it's still very much SSG's game.
Very true. I mean, I sometimes don't give enough credit to the natural ebb and flow of the game. You know, we were ebbing for a bit, now we're flowing again, back on the side.
And then we're going to be ebbing in a little while.
Maybe ebb again.
And then maybe we flow. Then maybe we flow, you know? Big kills, though, now. This is where SSG is starting to create that separation between themselves and Envy. They did it at the beginning of the game. They're going to have to do it again. But now these rockets are coming up. This is going to be a pretty big one, because if Envy are able to get these rockets, this could very well get them back into this game. Saw how StelluR was able to use those to great effect when he managed to pick those up last time. Woo! Nice kill from Falcated.
Well, these next ones gonna help decide. It looks like Piggy's gonna hit perfect shots on Suppress, and he has this top angle here on rockets as they're coming up.
This is dangerous.
This could be the moment again where Envy puts the squeeze onto the SSG base.
Oh, and the rocket shot, and it's gonna send instead
that knocks out Suppress, turns himself into bacon bits.
I mean,
it's just gonna be bad all around.
That's not good. You wanted to hold on to those for a little while longer, man. But instead, StelluR's gonna find those yet again. And while it's only gonna be one rocket, that is one rocket that Envy would love to have on their side. But they are not going to. May not even need the rocket at the rate that they're going at. Sniper's gonna be available here, so that rocket's gonna be protecting that sniper. And just making sure that no one can really get that comfortably, and he does not get the kill. Just like I say that, you know, you can see the moments where Envy can come back into this game, but then SSG get those 1 or 2 kills that keep the distance.
I'm actually surprised there, though. Nobody from SSG were able to grab that sniper. I assumed with that StelluR flank that they were going to be too distracted. Someone from SSG is going to grab a snipe, run it back towards, you know, Red Cave. But none of that happened. Instead, game slowing down a bit. Yakzn has snipe, but the work is cut out for him. A 7-kill differential. SSG needs to trade out 2 kills to close this out. Make it 1.
Yeah, the game is pretty much in Yakzn's hand here. And he needs to make big shots happen, but StelluR's got the angle on the side, and he's going to get clipped in the distance. But those are going to be some weakened players. Suppress has an opportunity to go in for the fight here. He knows that 3 of them are going to be all by themselves, but instead he chooses the player on the right side, and he ends up costing himself that one there. But in any case, though, it's still 5 kills, right? You need a lot if you're Envy to get back into this one, but it is not impossible. You just can't give anything up at this point, and there it is. They had so much to do. Sometimes it just happened like that, you know? But there was so much that they needed to do there, and there were so little options that they were provided. Like, their only good choice that they could make was group up at elbow and then work around the sniper, which wasn't like a bad
you don't have the deaths to give up there, so it's like, you know, when you're completely have no margin of error, it's like nobody can really just go out there without any information. You know the team's encroaching on your area. Somebody would be waiting around any corner and bottom center to go for a 3-shot melee.
Yeah, that's right. See the players are getting up, talk, maybe go to the bathroom. So we'll be chilling here for a second, but let's talk about what we saw in the stats here, because Dave, you were talking about wanting to see Eco step it up. He does just that in this game. Right alongside Falcated, another guy that we had pointed out leading into this map. So, you know, good performances across the board. That's what they need to continue to add on to if they want to win this series. Yeah,
I mean, SSG's success, it's easy to highlight someone like StelluR, who's had MVP performances and has been a season MVP before. But what's truly made them special so many times in the past is just the consistent pressure that their team has from every single player. And we've seen moments of that throughout this year, and we've seen a lot of misses from that this year.
Yeah, it's been very off-brand for StelluR's SSG, and it definitely, you know, I think it's more just also like, let's not forget, right? This game's been out for a couple years now. You got a lot of players who have been just putting
people are just good at the game,
and they're getting
so
good. Yeah, I was talking to Lottie earlier, and we were like, people are just good. Like, there's so much work has been put in from these players. They're just good at this point. It comes down to the margins, the wire. Obviously, there are some things that separate good teams from the, you know, great teams from the good teams. But I mean, so many teams and so many players have just been unbelievable in their work ethic in Halo Infinite. So we'll see. But now, Dave, another thing you had pointed out, live fire oddball, that is a little problematic for SSG. 0-6, I believe.
0-6 is correct. So could be difficult from here, but you know, I guarantee that Coach Elamite has been working with this roster, trying to figure out, hey, what are we doing to get our objective efficiency up in here? Are we improving our rotations? Are we doing better setups? What are we doing a little different here on live fire oddball? Yeah, well, and look at this here. Actually, we were talking about StelluR earlier on, and this is a comparison of where he was when he won the season MVP versus now. And you definitely see, right, like the outputs changed a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, and on the KD side of things, but he's been overall relatively consistent throughout his career, which is really impressive. Yeah, no, he's always putting out a ridiculous amount of damage, same amount of kills per minute. He's just doing things right and so good. I think that just the difference is when your team is not winning every single event, you have a lot more losses that kind of take a hit to your KD. You have some valleys with those peaks. Yeah, and that's true. Some ebbs and their flows. They all go together. They all go together. But yeah, it's been a little, tougher from going from the team that's just dominating all the time to kind of in a rebuilding year. Yeah, and they've been putting in that work, SSG trying to find that cohesion with the lineup. They have, just great voices and great players across the board. And we're going to jump over real fast to our other game, Unreal Nightmare versus Omit. And Unreal Nightmare, Envor, hey, that's one of my teammates, big team battle. But yeah, no, this is really happy to see this Unreal Nightmare team step it up and get that win against SSG the way that they did. It's going to put a lot of pressure here on Omit. But there's some great names on that team too. I immediately get drawn to Spartan and Lethal. Obviously, veterans in the space. You're really going to be looking to them to have to lead this team in these crucial moments here. But yeah, this game is going to be huge here for both these squads. Can Omit tie this one back up, or is Unreal Nightmare going to somehow go up 2-0 in this series? Yeah, and it's a close one as well. Huss has a snipe and doesn't quite know where he wants to position that yet. He's going to run into breaking shot down low, but they'll be able to handle him with relative ease. He was one shot the entire time. One kill separating them. You're hearing a lot of activity down low as Common now getting in the fray as well. And Syrian's also in that action. You've been hearing his name quite a bit. You know, Tony talking about him earlier on about what he was doing in that game against SSG. But the real question is can they buy some space here for Huss to let him do some work with the sniper? Because right now there's just pressure coming from all sides, coming from the bridge, coming from the cave. Yeah. And Sniper taken down. This was Omit's key and ticket to get back into this game. And it is starting to look dangerous because it's a 44-49 game and Sniper going back in the hands of Unreal Nightmare.
Yeah, this is very dangerous here. This could very well be it. Similar situation to what we just saw. Breaking shot now, doesn't even need to get into the action because his teammate Common was there for the pickup, and that is going to put them up 2-0 in that series against OMIP. There you can see Pool D. So if Unreal Nightmare were to be able,
there's a lot of ifs coming up right here. Go ahead, Golden Boy. Tell them all.
Spacestation beat Envy. We're looking at a whole lot of 2-1s, and then at what point? How do you solve that, Dave? I don't
that ain't for us to solve.
That's
for the TOs and people far smarter than Golden Boy to figure out.
Okay, well, firstly, you're up here with me too, so, you know, whose fault is that? Secondly, never talk to me like that again. How dare you? Third, I don't have a third. I just really subscribe to the rule of threes. But yeah, no, I do think that is going to be a wild circumstance. Envy need to win this one in order to control their own destiny. They know that because this is going to get real ugly if they're not careful. And for SSG, well, this could be an opportunity to maybe fix up your oddball live fire a little bit, you know?
We'll do it live. They're going to build this plane as they're flying it. SSG
that's been known to work, right?
To drive this one into a 2-1 lead if they can, and it's totally possible. Even though they're 0-6 in this so far, it's a squad that we've seen win World Championship. They've won countless tournaments. I want to say, what, StelluR and Eco have won about 7 tournaments so far in Halo Infinite?
Yeah,
including the Halo World Championship.
A lot of success from these guys. They're no strangers to the pressure in these moments here. StelluR, though, had to take away that bandit real fast. Body shot on the Yakzn, though. He's putting in that work, and sometimes that's all you really need out of the sniper. Just hit a body shot, send that person packing, you know, make them kind of fear for their lives in that instance, right? Simple as that.
Did he hit that?
I think he did.
He might have hit that Descendant.
Yes.
StelluR feeling himself, looking a little comfortable.
That's
now,
crazy.
What can SSG do during this time? Because it's not enough just to hold a perfect setup. They need to start doing some rotations. Unfortunately, ball goes down their position. I'm not sure I got behind enemy lines. They must have assumed some incorrect spawns there. The fact that StelluR got that initial damage on a player at green potentially influenced spawns, and players were breaking out there instead of setting up and getting a perfect trap over at green side. Players got out towards tower, and instead Envy now have ball and more time than Spacestation after that 4-1 run by StelluR.
Yeah, StelluR was really hyper-focused on those players over toward the big door, and for good reason, because he saw 2 players there. He had the weapon that he needed to stop them. But just a brilliant read from Envy. And they're going to continue to see if they could bring this one as close as possible, SSG. Still very much early on here. You got to win these fights. And Yakzn, Descendant, they're going to get theirs. Because of that, well, that's going to lead to at least a little bit of a pickup of the ball just by SSG to bring a little further, make them work a little bit more for it.
Now, smart by SSG. They tossed the ball over towards dummies, and both players went in a different direction. One went tunnel, one went towards top center, just to try to disperse forces from Envy so that they aren't caught in one area, hold the ball, getting killed, and giving the ball up.
Ball still going to be available. There's Eco. Try to get into the action. Did not work out for him. Ball's still going to be out there. And the ball gets played because no one was actually in a position to be able to nurse where the ball was and take care of it. Descendant was the one that was bringing that ball across, but it seemed like the call there was to just focus on slaying and clearing out so that this way they can get the setup. Instead, though, they ended up losing access to that ball really fast, but they did get themselves a camo instead.
Descendant now with his camo. Where's he going to push on out? Thought he had his frag grenade out. Gets shot in the side by Falcated. That's a frustrating series of events. Falcated getting some crucial kills there, but it's just an equalizer. It's 2v2.
Falcated now knows he's in a bit of a pickle. Has to get out of this one, but he does have teammates to back him up. Where does SSG look to set this up? They're going to bring this over toward the garage side of the map. Get a couple of clears here, a couple big kills. Falcated looking for a double. Instead, his teammates for the help, but it don't matter. They're getting those kills the way they need them.
Falcated gonna go back for that snipe. Has a full sniper. Lots of ammo in this one. interesting to see how he wants to get involved here. Does he try to create an escape route for the sniper? Does he get just hands-on, dirty down in bottom center? Ouch. Decides to get bold. Gets so much damage. That's going to be 3 down for Envy. SSG need to get some time on the board.
Yeah, it's right now that they need to do it. But no one's been able to grab that ball quite yet. They haven't been in a position where they've been comfortable enough to be able to attain that, and they end up losing 2 players there, maybe even a third.
If having 3 down and having sniper rifles in a comfortable enough spot, Golden Boy, I don't know what is.
Yeah, what is then at that point? It's very true. But Envy's not going to wait. They're going to bring that ball across, and they have themselves a little bit of a lead to work with, but it is a small, small lead.
Team in the past, everyone's had this throughout matchmaking. Sometimes you experience these through even tournaments or crucial matches. We have some of these WTF moments where you start to say, hey, all these things went right. WTF went wrong there at that time. Why did we not get time? Why did we not get that flag cap? Why did we not get the hill captured there? And that was one of those moments in time where they had everyone alive. Piggy was still in a great spot, don't get me wrong, over at the C plat. But it's kind of just one of those demoralizing moments that you start to say, what's going on, guys?
Yeah. Well, I also think, too, there's a potential where I think it could very well be, I don't know, that it felt like in that moment in time, everyone was so hyper-focused on ensuring that they were doing their job, that they weren't focused on the actual job, which was the objective, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of comes with the growing pains that we were talking about with these teams, especially this season, needing to, like, adapt with one another. And you got to do it now because it's the last event.
Yeah, I mean, they're just focused on the next step there. Probably just focused on where are the spawners? How are we going to do this next trap? How are we going to keep a longer step without just first grabbing the ball, just finding the next person, and it happened to be both in the same location. You went near the ball, you would have found Piggy, would have got it all. But here we go. No need to harp on the past. And SSG, now in the lead, have a nice setup here at tower. And how long can they extend this lead?
Nico had eyes on Piggy the entire time, just wanted to make sure that he could be in a spot to get that kill cleanly. Ball does get played, but this camo still continuing to patrol and do work. They were able to get a little bit of time off of that and the lead. So at the very least, all that, you know, worked out for SSG, at least in the interim.
Gosh, that was such a sneaky spot by Precision. Whether somebody went in front of dice blocks with C-plat, or whether they went up the tower behind them, they would not have seen them. So such a sneaky location there. I really like that spot by Precision.
DSCENDANT actually bringing that ball back low, but he's going to bring it across to the pillar side, it seems like. Curious as to why. Oh, okay. Piggy brought the snipe straight across. He's looking to get that QT if he is a... Oh, never mind. He's bringing this one across toward green. Maybe not exactly what he wanted to have happen, but at the very least, though, they were able to keep the sniper out of the hands of SSG.
But SSG don't play ball. They have ball in their hands, and they are in a commanding spot right now. In fact, they might decide to, at some point, drain the clock a little bit as they have the ball in a play ball position. We'll see how they decide, because first things first is get those kills.
Let's see if they can make it happen here. Couple of one-shots available to them. StelluR just going to back away from that fight. Don't want to waste that time. Don't want to give it up. You got the QT. You can bail out of that fight. You only got a couple seconds remaining here as well. They got to get on this one.
They're setting a perimeter around the ball.
That's
They're just
it.
holding C-plat and just denying anyone from Envy from getting near that ball.
Brilliant.
And SSG brilliantly close out round 1. But not too comforting with how close that game is.
No, not at all. I mean, that one went down to the wire there. No one was really in a spot where they could command the pace of the game. But I guess that just is a credit to Envy for how hard they've been playing.
One quick note, though, on that game, 8-second game between these two teams, Spacestation Gaming outslayed 51 to 40. So they're getting about 25% more kills than Envy. Now, you have to wonder or worry if Envy are able to match that slaying power, how's that objective going to translate?
Yeah, very true, very true. And we've seen those moments where Envy can get real hot and their players are flying at you full speed. So if you're not careful, and SSG surely are going to be aware of it because these were the guys who used to do that back then. So a couple big stops there for SSG, getting that sniper out of the hands of DSCENDANT. Even though you do find yourself that camo, you're gonna, it's the silver lining, you keep it out of the hands of your opponent, but you just don't get to do anything with it, man, which really sucks. Credit to SSG for stopping that.
Yeah, both teams fighting so hard for that one there. You're not gonna, especially the very first camos out of the game, you're not gonna get by the other team without some sort of contestation.
true, and this is still very much early days here, but a great position set up now for SSG to hold in the tower side. You got two players that are going to be pushing from dummy side. Make that 3, and another one looking to get a little aggressive in the mid. But Eco still staying alive, which is great for him because he was one shot for a minute. You were seeing him kind of flicker all over the place. But he manages to play his life there, and as a result of that, gets that melee, which keeps them very much in this one.
4 down, SSG looking more comfortable here, though. They have the perfect tower set up where they can play ball this if they need to. They know where the spawns are at, and they're gonna get at least another 15 seconds of time.
Yeah, this is everything that you want if you're an SSG fan. You want to see this team just get these setups and just lock out their opponents. But Envy, though, they need to wake up here and get those bandits online. Otherwise, this could very well be curtains on map 3. And this was one that was very good for Envy, given that Spacestation's history here. Not the best. But hey, it seems like it does not matter because SSG woke up when they needed to. Another 3 down for Envy, and SSG just keep adding to their total, Dave.
Yeah, Suppress doing a good job clearing a path for his teammate during this rotate. They realize they have the spawns over towards garage side. Go towards the spawners. And now Envy just kind of playing ring around the rosy, trying to chase this ball all the way over towards the garage.
Eco's got a lot to do here. He's very weak, but he cannot stay alive. And the reason why I say that is because that ball is going to be tucked away inside of the garage side. It's going to let Envy kind of get back into this one. Now, StelluR with this camo could pay off huge for this team if he uses it properly.
Yeah, StelluR moving towards bags and gets lit up right away.
The moment he got out of the choke, they saw him like it was
both sides.
Like he might as well just not have the camo at that point. That's what it felt like. Oh man, that's crazy. Piggy, he went for that repulsor play. I love seeing those. Those are always fun.
And you know that's a true indicator if someone's feeling themselves. You're not going for the repulsor plays if you ain't feeling yourself.
Exactly. And Piggy definitely has had some moments in this series. He had a great, I think it was map 1, was it? Where he absolutely popped off. 2 down now for each side here. Ball's still going to be in no man's land, available to grab. I saw Eco there for a moment, but he's not going to be long for this world either. It's an opportunity now for Envy. Get back into this one. But just as I say that, you can see how SSG, they're like, no, we're going to take that ball, bring this one right back over here, set this one up. We'll be good, but losing a couple big players here. Suppress and Falcated go down. A lot of work now for Eco and StelluR to have to try and hold this one off. But so far, so good, as no members of Envy have really been able to get in their faces once they remove those 2 players from the fight.
Yeah, SSG opts to fight instead of rotate. You kind of have 2 options in a situation like that. You can say, all right, we know a lot of pressure coming here from big doors. We can either rotate this ball away through the field over towards tower, or you can stand and fight. SSG opts to stand and fight.
And that was just the classic Eco StelluR combo too. Now we're at that point here. Let's not forget, they won with 58 points in the last game. They've already eclipsed that. And they're looking to end this one at 100, if they can. Envy have to stop this. Otherwise, SSG are going to get in a hot streak. And then you at that point, the game's pretty much just lost. The map's lost. But there's still opportunity here for Envy. 2-minute, as we enter the 2-minute warning, excuse me.
But we're going to have to see, now that Descendant has the ball, this is actually a great spot. Even though his team's down, SSG have to make a decision. How many players do they send towards green to get this ball to play? Looks like that option is 3, and ball does not play. Does the grenade get it off, though? He tried to throw one desperate grenade, and it does work. Descendant, despite missing the play ball, redeems himself, throwing that grenade.
Huge. Because that would have very well been curtains at that point with the setup where they were. Damn those micro textures. It's just always causing problems. All right, another 3 down for Envy. SSG looking like they're back to their winning ways here at the very least in this game 3. Big push now coming in from the nest side. Yakzn needs to remove Falcated from this Overwatch position here. He's got a strong spot, but Piggy goes in there, fresh body goes in for the fight. But while all that was happening, ball was brought right across over to the other side. Nothing they could really do about that. They just had to watch it move.
Next kills, though, gonna decide what happens here with this ball and with the setup. I like this time that Piggy's taken, but you gotta wonder, when do you gotta hit the gas pedal? When do you have to push right in? And there's gonna be 2 down falling for SSG. Envy, no choice but to put some points on the board.
Piggy's on the hunt. He knows that a couple players are going to be here. 2 players now down for Envy. That ball's going to be down again. Oh, Piggy couldn't win that fight. Falcated. He's so good in those 1v1s. And even though Yakz's having a pretty solid game so far, it still has not really amounted to much. They haven't even crossed that 50-point threshold yet. Spacestation continuing to control this one, Dave. This looks like it could be curtains.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get the full 100 points on this round and on this game, giving SSG a much-needed lead, some breathing room. They don't need to always be on the back foot. There's going to be 99-100. Eco and Spacestation Gaming go up to a 2-1 lead here.
Every member of SSG was outputting. You had 21 assists for Eco to close out that game. Everyone was well over 20 kills. There was just so much coordination and effort that we were seeing on the SSG side. And this map, this game mode that's been a thorn in their side, they finally can be like, well, hey, we don't have a donut there, we just have breadstick.
And those are nice ones too, because as soon as you start to get over those little humps, you start to say, all right, you know what, this team, they went in all cocky, probably really energetic going into that game number 3, and to get shut down in that fashion. Envy starting to be worried, starting to say, wait a second. You know, they had to be prematurely celebrating when they saw Unreal Nightmare take him down and say, you know what, they can take him down, we can beat him.
Hey, you know, as the famous phrase goes, if it bleeds, you can kill it, right? I mean, that's just the nature of it. But I think for Envy, this game kind of illustrated that, you know, in those moments when you need to like lock down things, control the flow of combat, how the game's playing out, like they're there, but they're not quite where the minds of like StelluR and Falcated and those guys are with their coordination, how they're able to really isolate fights in the map so well, give themselves openings, kind of bait things out, right? Like set up traps for the other team, whereas Envy, they're very much, it feels like a go, go, go type of team, which isn't a bad thing, but it's definitely a clash of play styles here for sure.
But looking forward here, Golden Boy. We were dogging a little bit on SSG as we got into game 1. We said, is this the roster we know? Are they going to be as strong as we've seen in the past? But taking a look at these bomb stat matchups, we got SSG with a 5-5 record, Envy with a 7-2. And do they fully matter though, GB?
That's the thing, I don't know, man.
You know, it doesn't matter.
I don't know at this point.
Those are strong.
Why these numbers lie to me?
But whole point being is that if SSG are playing well, you can't count them out of any series. And they've brought themselves back into this, into a commanding 2-1 lead. They just need to take one of these next couple games, but Envy looking prime here on bomb.
Yeah, they
7-2 record.
They really are, and they could get themselves back into this series with this one. So far, they've kind of been, you know, especially in that live fire game, that was pure control from SSG.
It was just heavy outslaying, yeah. I mean, at some point when you're outslaying that heavy, you better be getting a bunch of ball time.
I will
walk
say,
away with it.
I think in this one, Dave, I do think that style that Envy like to play, that more aggressive in your face style, especially when you need to march that bomb across the field like that, could actually pay dividends for them, excuse me. You know, not to say that SSG weren't going to be prepared for that, but I see that style working out very, very well in this map and mode.
We're going to see if that up-in-your-face style is going to work here for Envy, or does the setup get that full control and get the secured arm going to work here for SSG?
All right, starting things off with Eco. He's in a little bit of a tussle early on there, finds Piggy again. Piggy gets the better of him in that fight, though. That's going to open things up now. A couple more players down, 2 on each side. But more importantly, you got Yakzn with that camo. Oh, okay, he was not prepared for that. He wasn't prepared for the second guy down low, but at the very least, they were able to take both of them out. And that camo gets stopped immediately, so good for Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, let's see how StelluR decides to play this one. Kind of trapped in the back of his base, knows that there's more pressure. Decides just back down. But this is a tough spot to be. Sometimes it can feel safe to push to the back of your base because you're not getting killed just yet. But you put yourself in a position where if you die, they can get that arm just in one round of slaves. Versus right now that StelluR's pushed out, he has at least a second life to try and stop this arm.
Uh-oh, that's a triple kill. Wait a minute, Precision.
StelluR's gonna spawn, like I said, he'll get one more chance to throw some Despy nades.
Yeah, but Eco was the one that was there on inside of the base. Those nades coming through, he's dodging them. That's the point earned. Envy get back on the board after a disappointing map 3. But as I say that, they lose a lot of players here, but Precision, he's gonna be the one just continuing to hang around inside of this base.
And right now, Precision realizes his folly. He was sitting way back at the base. And I like that play, though. He was baiting the bomb at first, wasn't able to get shot, didn't want to overextend. And then when he realized the bomb was pushing out, he says, I can't be of great effect here anymore at the opposite base. And he closes that gap. So even though he's taken down, he brought some breathing room for his teammates.
And it's going to keep things at a neutral point for right now. Eco, though, good help coming in for him. You see where that bomb, right, just trying to bring that one across. And I gotta say, quite interesting, because I don't think that anyone, you know, especially with the fight going on toward Car, I really can't see how moving the bomb in that time is actually going to be something you want to do, especially considering you're getting pressured from Car 2 like that.
Kind of feels like a Despy situation where you feel like you're going to get picked off anyways, so you say, all right, what's the most value that I can squeeze out of this life? And sometimes that's move that bomb an extra 10 feet away so that the opposing team has to take 2 extra seconds to bring this bomb to your base.
Maybe that could be
Every
the
single player is trying to maximize value of their life, and that's generally what those situations turn out to be.
Good point on that one there, Dave. Now, of course, Camel's going to be up for grabs again. That'll be SSG getting their hands on it here. Last time we saw Envy get that camo, but SSG were very quick to handle it. Is it going to be the same thing here? Because they know that they're going to have to be dealing with it, but who's making those calls where that camo player is going to be located? But wait a minute. He grabbed that ball, brought it across now.
And he's going to toss that out. That is so smart there.
Yeah. That was really, really...
Was it DSCENDANT or Piggy that recognized, okay, this player is looping around on the stairs on me. I thought they were going to just toss it straight out window, but instead they bring it all the way towards their fridge side, which is better. So in the case that SSG still tries to go for this arm, they're going to block the fridge spawns, and they're going to get the superior util spawns.
Eco has done great work with this camo. He's been able to give them so much value with it. And because of that, he's still very much in this fight. So low, though. He's playing his life expertly. The champion in his right. So much success in his past. He's looking to find that here again at the last tournament of the HCS season. He's still inside of their courtyard. They had to handle him eventually. And that's going to come in the hands of Precision, who shut him down there. But Falcated gets a double kill of his own. No ball movement quite yet, though. They don't really have the numbers to comfortably move that ball across. As you can see, it's still hanging out over there on the left.
Yeah, Falcated trying to stay alive in util, gets hunted down by Piggy. That was a huge kill to clear out of the base. But still, not comfortable just yet at the Envy stronghold, or at the base of Envy. They are fighting desperate to get out. And Yakzn, the only one alive, and 2 members pushing in and out.
Got to do so much here. He needs to get at least a couple one-shots, maybe clear things up, but that ball's going to be coming in. The bomb, rather, is inside, and he's got it halfway through. Is anyone there to stop him? He has to drop the ball. He had to drop it. He had to get out of there, but his teammates should be good to secure it, and that will give them a critical plan.
All right. Comfortable now. Tied 1-1, but he knows the pressure's coming in. Eco. And I believe that's suppressed, trying to hold the back of this base, and relatively successful. Kills traded back and forth. That's going to be 3 again. Yakzn, the last one alive. But bomb has not moved across the map, so no worries just yet for Envy.
Yeah, he can take a little bit. Well, instead he's going to trade there with StelluR.
And the interesting part about this position here, if you're Envy, is since the bomb is not pushing your base yet, you have 2 options. One is you go back and clear out your base. You clear out Falcated. And second option is just push on out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. As long as they don't move the bomb closer to your base, you're okay. And knowing the playstyle of someone like SSG, they want to have more and more control before they're comfortable moving the objective up. So I would actually opt, if I was Envy, to push on out of the base if the bomb is the bottom center.
Wait a minute, we might be getting our second one on the board, and we did. Envy gets number 2, and they're going to still hang around this base. So they're going to be a thorn in the side of SSG. Those spawns over toward the fridge side, forcing movement. Good kill from a distance there for Precision. DSCENDANT's going to get his as well. They actually can move this bomb again. There is an opening for them to do so here.
I hear it. It's a moving. They have 3 dead. I like this play from Precision. Blocks the spawns here. They have spawns over at the bridge. The worst spawns here for SSG, and they need to push it now. How did Suppress get over there? That's a huge flank. Has gets a couple kills, but he needs to perfectly stop this. Descendant trying to desperately arm this. Can he get it, or can Suppress stop it? And that is going to be it.
He pulled it off, gets the win, and folks, we're going to a Mat 5.
That was so wild at the end. I thought Suppressed had done the work. I didn't see that extra member from SSG ready there to defend, or that extra member from Envy ready there to defend.
Yeah. They're just so quick on the response there. Got to give a massive shout out to Precision at the final part of that game, because his presence in the back, getting the kill over toward the player on P1, putting more pressure on those players in Util side, how he was able to support in that area, even though Suppress magically appeared like Harry Potter, he just showed up. It was still very impressive, and that is exactly what Envy needed. Now we go to a pivotal Slayer here. But Dave, what a great series this has been. Both teams fighting tooth and nail for that spot. For SSG, it's about just being able to end this pool 2-1 and then see where the cards fall. For Envy, opportunity to be 3-0 at the World Championship. When teams very much do not give you that time of day, they have an opportunity to be able to take that and run with it going into Saturday.
It's all going to be decided here on this game number 5. Now, we didn't look at the stats just yet, but one thing I want to highlight is SSG outslayed here during game number 4. So Spacestation Gaming, they outslayed by only 6 kills, 48 kills to 42, but still lost the objective game. Just kind of showing the objective efficiency difference between these squads.
Yeah.
If SSG outslayed by a decent amount in the OBJs, they're fine.
Yeah.
When it's closer to even, Envy are getting that edge.
And now we're going to streets. Take it to the streets. That's what I like to do. Whenever I got to settle a conflict, Dave. Honestly, if you take my belt, we're gonna have to go to the streets. You know,
I'm down. I've been waiting for you to ask.
I got a shank and everything. It's crazy. Put your name on it too. It's wild. I want the police to hear me. You know. No, but jokes aside, though, it did find out though that if Envy were to win this, they'll actually end up taking on Complexity. So that will be very interesting. But let's take a look at these stats here.
Stats though, we have an even series. Envy being outslayed heavily. Every single member of Envy are negative in the KD department.
Wow.
But a complete different story when we look at how those OBJ games are going.
Yeah, very true. Look at Suppress though, man. My guy's having a hell of a series. 1.2 rather.
Yeah, Suppressed and Falcated, both putting up big numbers as far as damage, as far as kills.
Yeah. That said though, Envy still have this ability to scrap out these wins. Let's not forget, 50-44 was what was
down to a game 5 here. At this end of the day, it doesn't matter what happened in games 1 through 4.
You're playing a BO1.
All that matters are these next 50 kills.
This is basically a Slayer on game battles. You know, that's a throwback for people who remember that. You know, you're just playing just a BO1. That's it. Pressure's on. SSG, they've been in these positions before. Envy is an opportunity for them to do what they believe that they could do, which was come into this tournament, dominate 3-0 scoreline. But look at that Mat 5 record. When the pressure is on, SSG managed to find those wins, whereas Envy just not able to do so. Maybe kind of like the way the Spacestation were able to turn around their oddball, maybe Mat 5 turns around here for Envy. Let's see what happens.
We will see an aggression. Not a problem here when everything's on the line. Descendant still pushing on up towards tires and putting that pressure here against SSG.
Needed those trades there, but they are going to get a couple of kills now, 3-2, so early on, as we see both teams just continue to go neck and neck against one another. This has been the theme of this series. And look at that. Great
tower, knowing exactly which corner to be looking at. That shows that this team has been going over the callouts and are comfortable.
Not only that, they're adding a decent amount of kills to their lead here. And on top of that, have been able to pick up that camo. So again, power item control has been pretty strong, pretty solid for Envy. In most cases, SSG, that was a squad that was just so good at being able to trap teams, prevent them from being able to get those pivotal items that they can get back into the game with. Piggy, on the other hand, he's given some info. He's given some comms now, but it gets called out. And that was a great read there from Suppress, knowing something's not right here.
Just called out from so many players. I mean, Piggy was buying the time there, just didn't have some of the distraction and the backup there on the B street, so just needed a little bit more assistance. In the end, we got ourselves a tie game.
Knotted up. But Envy, though, showed that they can create that space, that distance in the Slayer games. So we'll see if they can do it again. We got Eco and Suppress now having to deal with the full might of the squad, but Eco does manage to get his. And here comes the support from Falcated now. Had to reload that Commando, but the Commando output so many shots so quickly that even if he came into that fight a little bit later, he was able to get the kill.
Once again, a 2-for-2 trade.
You're okay with that.
Teams are neck and neck. Every single time you start to feel like Spacestation get the better and get a kill, Envy answers right back, and vice versa.
I think this next camo is going to be very big, though. It's available in a couple seconds, excuse me. And this could give them that separation that they need. 12 seconds. We'll see how this fight kind of plays out here. And you can already tell Envy, they're positioning themselves to be able to take this. Meanwhile, the members of SSG kind of stuck inside a tram. They need to get outside of the station here and catch their train. Camo's grabbed by Envy.
Okay, last time we saw the push from SSG pushed out towards, last time Envy were stuck in tram, they pushed out towards B streets. Can they do the same thing here again?
I just think with this camo, man, you don't got to get cute. You just got to be there and be a third body in those fights, right? Like right now, he's making the call out. That's perfect. He's able to help his teammate out, make the call, tell him, hey, turn around, get back here. And then they were able to handle business. You don't got to do much. You don't got to be fancy with it. You don't got to be a human UAV.
Long gone are the days where you are getting fully behind enemy lines, getting 2 back smacks, and getting a bunch of kills. Players are too aware. They know what's going on across the map, and they are hunting camos.
And precision, he still does manage to get a lot out of that camouflage. That's going to be a 4-kill lead now for Envy. And I talked about before how that camo was going to be big. And it was a neck-and-neck game the entire time. But now we start to see some separation. But since that camo is out of play, how does SSG respond here?
Looks like SSG kind of hold up here towards Cafe and A. Now, 2 players going down. So despite kind of being cornered over near the Cafe, these members from Envy are just trading out those kills. Sometimes you wonder, are Envy playing a little too quick? Do they need to like pause a little bit when they're getting some of these spawn traps?
Yeah. But I do like what DSCENDANT's doing here, right? He's just taking his time. He's trying to see if anyone's pushing up here on the arcade side of the map, which he's got a lot of info for his team because he's getting no activity over here. So you have to deduce, hey, where is everyone else? They're more than likely going to be on the Cafe side, which is where that activity is happening.
I don't hate it. I keep talking about, hey, you know, our Envy just playing way too quick all the time and forcing too much action.
And slow down.
Once in a while, send a trap, but you have to wonder when the game slows down too much. That's when all the traps start to fail.
Yeah,
it's when people are checking the corners.
Yeah.
It's when there's a standoff that you're not going to be able to slip on by.
I will say, though, DSCENDANT still being a thorn in the side of SSG here. It's kind of pulled a lot of attention over toward him. And that gives them another kill. So that whole play right there, even though DSCENDANT wasn't really in the action, he had just covered so much of the map that it allowed Envy to know that they could take these fights with confidence because they weren't going to get flanked. They had all the lanes covered. They knew exactly where they were, and that gives them that 6-kill lead.
This is Khalid, Stalker Rifle in the hands of Piggy. Camo up shortly. Camo up already.
Yeah, and Precision's going to grab that one. That's yet another grab here for Envy.
Bold play. I don't hate it though.
Yeah, that's
just trying to maximize and get past. I mean,
surely they're not going to send a grenade in here twice. It's true. Yes. Wait a minute, no! Get out of there!
It's so tough.
It's a trap.
I like how Piggy followed this up. As soon as that camo player is taking up so much attention, that players get called out, and you need to collapse in there. So at least trading out 1 kill for that camo life.
I know, like, I don't think that this was the intention, but it does kind of like give you the idea. It's like, wait a minute, is that like refracting image in front of my face? And then you have to handle it, right? Otherwise, this person's just going to pop up and like back whack you or hit you. So it was actually a pretty solid play to give them this space. And so far, I mean, it's paid off for them, right? They're still keeping this game at 4. And you need 1 clean round of Slays if you're Spacestation Gaming, but Envy's not letting you have that one.
Oh, I like that read, though. Descendant realizing that player's going to double back from tires. Doesn't actually go to the corner near the planters, but gets the kill in the end. Descendant's death nades are something to admire.
Yeah.
He's got a martyrdom. He's just tossing one down and knocking the ball off the map.
He's got
or
the
getting
perk.
a crucial kill.
Oh, but just as you say that, Dave, look at that. Space Station tied up the game, and each kill that comes through gets traded out immediately. So we're back where we started. Envy were able to create a little bit of distance between themselves. I think the most they got was 7 kills. And since then, excuse me, it's been SSG grinding away, getting kill after kill after kill, and it has paid off for them. We'll see, though, because this has been Envy kind of, I feel like Envy has been doing actually a really good job of map control here, and SSG's kind of been forced in a position of having to find where those players are and take those fights. I don't know if you agree.
The map control's been fine. I think it's just been the aggression sometimes after they have the setups. It sometimes feels like they just force certain actions where if they just took a little extra pause and let SSG kind of squeeze themselves or constrict themselves in one area, the kills would come. But it feels like as soon as there's the damage there, Envy say, we're going until one of us is dead.
Yeah, it's just there's a go button, but no stop button.
Yep.
But SSG does manage to get themselves a little bit of a lead here, and there goes the camo available again. I think StelluR got hands on it, potentially. Yes, he did. So he gets the camo, courtesy of that shroud screen. And now this is where you get to see whether or not SSG, never mind, I was going to say, can really create distance here on the scoreboard, but instead that camo gets found instantly. That said, 3-kill lead for SSG, the position that they want to be in, especially in this late game.
Yeah, let's see how Suppress decides to play this. I don't hate this aggression. He knows that someone's going to backtrack towards here.
Yeah.
Can he spot someone out? Looks like Falcated gets spots out. I like this. His teammate's taking to fire, decides to capitalize on it, but they're both now caught in a tricky position. Oh, how do you hit that, Suppressed?
That was crazy. Great shot there. A couple more starting to come through for Envy. 2-kill lead now. They get out of that really precarious position there, Dave, when they were in the tram and they were stuck. Now they kind of spread it out a little bit.
But these are the situations that SSG are going to be more comfortable than Envy. They've been in icy situations like this. They've been in Game 5s. They've been in World Championship Game 5s.
Wait a minute, though, but that might not come into fruition. That may not even matter at this point. They managed to tie this one up. We're right back where we started. It's been neck and neck the entire time. They've been trading kills all over the place. Envy had a little bit of a lead. Space Station gets a little bit of a lead. What a drama this has become. And now that kill, that's just one round of slays. Envy could win this series.
That sentry kill, but Descendant gets
Yes, you could do the same.
perfected against Eco. So kill after kill being traded from both sides. Piggy gonna somehow secure that kill against Suppressed before both going down. Now at 48-47, does StelluR decide to put this aggression on or sit back and see if Envy makes a mistake?
Yeah, Descendant's in a bit of a spot there, too, by tires. And StelluR's got himself a decent position to see if anyone's coming through in the flank on the cafe side here. But just as he does that, though, the timing was brutal. But Yakzn, he tries to get away from that one. That's going to be 49. Now looking for one more kill. Where's it going to come from? Can Envy get a 49th of their own? You got Descendant. He's going to be pushed up real far up now. Eco, he's playing this one back. He's getting shot up a couple times. Descendant's going to have to go back to his teammates in Turtle. And you're starting to see both teams kind of work together here. Hold hands, 2 players splitting things up now.
I like
taking
this
the
play,
fights.
though. StelluR getting the stalker rifle, realizing that this is something that can pick someone across the map and do some real damage.
That camo's not even going to matter.
No, that's just a bait for one of the deaths. Throw that down, and I kind of like this. Both teams just kind of throwing some grenades and baiting it out. Just fighting on the outskirts.
Yeah, just making them go for it here, and there you have it. SSG manages to pick up the win, 50-48 at the last second. Big kills, Falcated and StelluR. Huge performances from them. StelluR gets that final kill onto Precision. But Envy fought hard, and now, well, folks, we go into...
We're going to be in a weird situation that I feel like I have not seen in, I can't even recall how long. Because you have a pool play scenario where 3 teams went 2-1, but one of them is going to start in the elimination bracket after going 2-1 in groups.
Yeah, I don't even know how the tiebreaker there works, but we'll find out, I'm sure. You'll see it posted all on the official HDS socials. What a game that was, man. SSG really, really needed, or rather really got pushed. And Envy showed that this is not a team to be trifled with. I know it's a heartbreak of a loss for those guys, but boy, oh boy, do they have what it takes, undoubtedly, to shock people here in Seattle.
You can never count them out. That's the craziest part, is like they could have been down, you know, 99-0 on that third oddball game.
Yeah.
I would have been like, you know what, this round, it's not looking good, but it's not over.
Yeah, well, here it is. All these games, pretty much, you know, you were seeing just different stories be told throughout it, right? Envy with a very strong, dominant start on that King of the Hill. You also saw Envy, another dominant play on Bomb, which I had talked about before. I was curious to see how that play style of theirs would really play out, and boy, oh boy, it worked out great for them. But on the other side of that one, though, when those games that SSG were able to pull off, right, especially that live fire oddball, what a critical map for those guys to win, Dave.
Yeah, they need that more than ever. I mean, the fact that they showed that they can bounce back from one of their worst game modes, something that they haven't been performing on as well throughout the season, and win when they need it the most.
Yeah, that's right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us here today. But we do have the legend, Guy Blaze, standing by with a guy I used to commentate with. It's Elamite. What's going on?